Hello, everyone. Today, I will be presenting a summary of my research paper topic, the utilization or lack thereof of immersive techniques in narrative horror video games. My exemplary work is Silent Hill 2, a revolutionary 2001 survival/psychological horror game which follows James Sunderland searching for his wife, Mary, who had apparently died 3 years prior due to an illness. However, it is revealed to us that he received a letter from her despite her passing. While exploring a psychologically unsettling town in Maine named Silent Hill, full of horrific manifestations that symbolize James' own inner demons, more and more information concerning James' muddled history in Silent Hill is revealed. The game contains a group of main characters who accompany James in his self-reflecting journey full of guilt and past trauma. Now, here's a short video clip of gameplay from Silent Hill 2. So the clip shows the main character, James Sunderland, walking in a dark hallway with the only source of light being his flashlight. Immediately after approaching a barrier, he notices a key on the ground, which is narrated by the game with the words on the screen, upon which the game asks the player to decide whether or not James should attempt to pick up the key. Answering yes leads to an unsuccessful attempt since a younger girl character appears out of seemingly nowhere on the other side of the barrier and kicks the key farther away from him, rendering the player's decision to pick up the key useless. So, although the clip is only 20 seconds long, there are many techniques that engross the player into the fictional environment. However, there are also limiting factors of the game which inhibit the immersive process. Firstly, the narration on the screen shows the inner thoughts of James as he observes the environment around him. The first person point of view, in conjunction with the sound effects, such as the obvious straining sounds that James makes as he reaches for the key, closes the gap between the real and virtual world that the players find themselves within. The latter technique utilizes the diegetic sound effect within the fictive world of Silent Hill. On the other hand, it can be argued that the explicit narration of the observations that James internally makes inhibits the degree of freedom that the player has. In explicitly presenting that a key is present, the game directly influences the player to move toward the key and progress through the checkpoints. Some sources say that this sort of narration increases player engagement. However, it does so at the expense of the player's freedom to fully explore their surroundings. Furthermore, the presence of cutscenes during which the player has no control over James increasingly prohibits the engrossment of the player into the fictive environment and begins to shift more into the cinematic sphere. Though cutscenes may be necessary to progress through a predetermined plot, they also intrude upon the player's previous immersive connection with the fictional world. Additionally, the oblivion created by the overwhelming dark environment of the hallway creates a feeling of suspense, largely driven by the fear of the unknown. Though this may discourage a faint of heart to continue to explore, it piques many other players' curiosity, while also constantly developing a slight fear of any pop-up scares. Speaking of pop-up scares, the ending bit of the clip is arguably an example of one as the game suddenly shifts from James, and ideally the player, focusing all their attention on the key, to another girl kicking the key. This sudden action may have caught the player by surprise, further demonstrating how immersive the player may have been before the scare.